Okay, so in case you guys are just
to spice it up.
I was just saying how the camera was all zoomed into my itty bitty titty committee
Accidentally.
accidentally, you know.
Yeah.
But hello,
You
hi.
put yourself all
I
in
put it
there,
all in
and
there.
it's like
It
accidentally.
was an accident. You know, when I have itty bitty titties, which I'm proud of, and when they're popping out, I like to
How's this itty bitty?
flaunt
I don't
it.
get it. Like,
I like
whatever.
to flaunt them.
I'm just gonna let her just let her be.
So,
all right.
hello, welcome. If you guys are just tuning in, I'm Naz, and this is Anastasia.
Hello.
And she's my first guest on my podcast. My first guest, first interview. I'm excited for this journey, and
I'm so excited.
And my podcast's name is Shaking Up Your Perspective, and I feel you can help
Shake it
listeners
up.
with that. Shake it up.
Shake it up.
And I love that you're pointing to my son. Shake it, girl.
This podcast is gonna go in the whole.
It's gonna go. We're gonna have moments of well, you guys have heard the little intro, moments of laughter, craziness.
It's gonna be tears too. So I'm just saying.
It's gonna
everybody
be
get ready.
Combination of all of it, which I'm excited.
Get ready.
So I'm gonna let you kind of take off, introduce yourself, honey. Tell me, tell them a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today, or how you got to before your trip to Bali. Whatever you want to share.
Yes, that's what we're going to be talking about today. Talk about Bali. Eat, pray, love kind of situation, right?
Correct.
But where do I begin? I am from a very small country in Eastern Europe, Moldova. Not a lot of people know, but that's where I'm from. I lived in Canada for a while, then I moved to US, and now I live here. I quit my job about a month ago. I used to be a nurse.
Woo! What kind of nurse?
Rehab nurse.
Okay.
And I don't know, I have been so happy since the day I walked out. I've been so happy. And I went to Bali. So, and now I came back from Bali, and I came with a huge bag of spiritual gifts and knowledge and things that I want to share, because they're so big. My heart cannot hold them. They're so big.
Why you're here. This is part of why you're here today.
So it was a whole little life that I lived in Bali, from like beginning to end, and it's big.
Okay, so we're gonna dive into them. So excited. We're all excited to hear about it. So okay, if you guys missed that, she basically had to eat, love, pray, spiritual, personal growth journey. Okay, she went to Bali, but I'm gonna rewind a little bit.
Yes.
Okay, so you said you left your job a month ago.
Yes.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that. What happened, or how does that feel, that choice that you made there? And you just explain a little bit more, diving into the unknown. I mean, that was a pretty big leap of faith. So talk to our listeners about that.
So if you want to ask me how does that feel, it feels exactly like jumping off the cliff, and you don't know if that's going to open. The parachute is going to open. You don't know that. Wow. You just have to trust it. You just have to jump. That's how it feels. It feels. You mentioned like how I made this choice.
Yeah.
It's funny to be like super, super honest, which I am. The choice was made for me, and I'm going to explain that.
I love that.
It's the truth. I mean, it was also, obviously I co-created, but it was definitely something that universe was pushing me towards. That's 100%. I started having panic attacks at work that I couldn't, continue. Then I kind of downgraded to part-time, and I thought, okay, this will give me some relief, until it was literally no. Like in one of my meditations, I kind of channel things, and I wrote down, very soon you won't be able to work at that job anymore. So prepare yourself. And I was like, oh, come on.
Right after
come on. Wow. Like, I need to eat something. Hello, No. Universe, when they want you somewhere, it doesn't matter how realistic that is. They just like, nope, this is where you're going. That's it. So yeah, I jumped into the complete unknown, and still kind of, swimming. But like I was sharing with you, I'm so fertile with ideas and with projects and everything. I'm doing them
fertile
one at a time.
Ideas. I love
that's
that
how it feels.
word.
That's how it feels. Like, honestly,
Amen.
That's exactly how it feels, So yeah, a lot of things got me here, but that's the short version of
Sure.
it.
Yeah.
The
And
short of it.
so let's talk about so Bali, right?
Yes.
Why Bali, and how did that come about? What
So I saw the movie, obviously, the movie Eat, Pray, Love with Julia Roberts. I saw it when it came out, I don't know, 10 years ago, very
Yeah,
long time ago.
yeah.
And I think there was a time where I was, in a different country, in a different circumstance, but that was like, it felt like a seed was planted in my heart, and it was there. It was dormant. It was just, resting
Yeah. That
until
seed was
until
resting.
yeah, the summer it got completely activated. And I thought to myself, I just want to go to Bali. And I started suppressing that desire because I'm like, okay, no job, no, like, what are you going to do? You know what? But it's like, you know what?
All those doubts,
All those things that we
thoughts.
think with our brain, but it's like the desire kept being very persistent. It's there, And I'm like, okay. And I asked myself, when am I going to stop, thinking about things? And when am I going to just do them? Instead of just, how we
That thought just popped in.
talk about,
That
starting a
question.
business. Oh, I should start a business. I should start a business. And we never do. I'm like, how about I actually do what I'm thinking about? And I just stopped thinking about it. So I just booked a trip. It was like just a matter of minutes, probably. And I didn't know where I was going. I went by myself. And I highly recommend. I mean, obviously, it's great with your family, your lover, whatever. It's awesome. But going by yourself, I mean, there's nothing like that. There's this just, yeah.
Like, we can do a whole episode just about solo traveling because I'm so passionate about that.
Yes,
We can
yes,
totally
yes,
dive
yes.
into that. But
if you have an open heart, yes, traveling by yourself, there's
and no plans. You didn't schedule anything.
no plans. No,
Just free.
nothing.
Wow. Just
people are like, where are you going? I'm like, I don't know. I just know I booked a hotel and I booked a flight. That's all I know.
So you booked the hotel for
it was like a
whole
movie.
stay. Yeah.
It was a movie. I was there for 2 weeks and it was a movie. So
let's dive into
yes.
the Anastasia Eat, Love, Pray movie. Seriously, I'm so excited. So
yes.
tell our listeners a little bit about, okay, so you land, you're there, okay?
Yeah.
You're in Bali now. And talk to us, start from the beginning of your journey through that. There's this you have the unconditional love intention.
Yeah. So before going on my trip, I dive more and more deeper in my feminine, in my feminine side. And
can you elaborate a bit about that?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. That for me, I rather set an intention than a goal. A goal feels to me very masculine, very forward. It's like going to achieve something, which I'm not trying to do. Feminine is very, like I was saying, fertile, very rich. Everything's already here. They're just kind of popping up. The seeds are kind of sprouting. So it's not something that you go get. It's something that you just get in touch with.
You already possess.
You have it, and it just sprouts. It sprouts. That's all, and you just go with it. So it's the opposite of the masculine, really. But anyways, so my intention, I didn't want to set a goal because going with a goal to me felt like very just the opposite of my nature, So my intention was unconditional love. I want to see it. I want to feel it. I want to experience it. I want to just, bathe in it. I want to see what it is. And I set an intention. I completely forgot about it. So that was the first day.
And you said that was the intention before you even went to Bali.
Yes, it was either when I was getting there or the first day or right before. I can't remember, but I was very clear with my intention. I was like, this is what I want.
And when you say unconditional love for yourself, or just that idea of unconditional love?
Just I want to just experience it. I want to know how it feels, because growing up, I didn't really have that. I know a lot of people grow with parents who are like, if you do this, then I love you, kind of love. I mean, I'm sure some people experienced, that unconditional love. I didn't. So it was super, super important for me to feel that for myself and be able to access it myself. It was super, super important. So yes, I set that intention and I went on my trip.
So I'm gonna
things started unfolding.
I'm gonna pull you back though, because this is important for our listeners. And thank you for being so open with that. Can you elaborate a little bit after? By the way, we're drinking tea. So
we're drinking tea, people.
She's having
herbal tea,
decaffeinated tea. I went the Persian Earl Grey and cardamom route. So cheers to
That's
you,
my favorite
honey.
tea, so don't even say that.
I know. She's
I
doing a
love
no
Earl Grey.
caffeine
I'm
cleanse,
doing that on.
which is good. I'm very proud of her. So back to
Yes.
that, but again, thank you
Yes,
for
back
being
to
so
that.
vulnerable and open.
Yeah.
Seriously. Tell me a little bit about the lack of unconditional love growing up. And I'm so sorry. I wanted to say I'm so sorry you didn't experience that, you know? No, I'm serious. I'm sorry.
It's so growing up was me and my mom, right?
Yeah.
So my mom, at least that's what I felt. My mom loved me if I was a certain way or did certain things. You know what I mean? If I didn't like walk the straight line, it was like, oh, no, no, no. So I never experienced like care or like a loving touch or like my mom, the first time she told me I love you was when I was 20 something. That was the first time. Wow. And it was not because I don't know. I'm probably not gonna talk for her because I don't know how it feels to be her.
Sure.
But that's how it was.
Do you feel that that's a cultural thing as well? Have you experienced that with any of
I had
your
this
extended
conversation with
family?
somebody and they said, I know a lot of Eastern Europeans and they're very loving people. And I'm like, yeah, that was not my experience, So I don't know if that's cultural. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just an interesting
So
thought.
it's gonna be my subjective opinion, and I don't really have one about that. I don't know. You're either loving or you're not. I don't know. It's just.
And you feel it was conditional, like
very conditional.
You had to be conformed
certain way.
Can you give me an example? Like
that's why
you had to be conformed into what she deemed that she wanted you to be in order
in
to
school I had to be amazing, and in school the subjects that were easy for me were like humanitarian science. The languages, all the things that were easy for me, and I was one of the lazy kids. I wasn't gonna burden myself with studying or no. I was not one of those people. Not academically very inclined. No, quite the opposite. But the languages and everything was easy for me, but the mathematics, like all the exact science, were so hard for me, and I didn't score well. Like algebra, I failed completely. I had to copy somebody else's test just to pass.
Wow.
So I remember my mom was not very pleased with that, know.
What about the creative space? You're in the creative classes. Did you get to experience that at all?
I experienced that at home a little bit because we didn't have much. So I would I would make slippers with my hands, or I would make dresses. That was my creative.
How fun is that?
It was because we didn't have any, it was like my mom and me would share one coat for both of us, So I kind of grew up like that. So there's not a lot of space to be creative, but that was.
But you created something from it.
Yeah. Okay. I loved fashion since I was.
So that's big. That's big. Yeah. So how old were you when you started doing? You said you were making things out of.
I was a child. I don't know, 7, 8, 9. I don't remember.
And as you can tell, she's obviously very fashionable.
Fashion is everything. Everything.
I was just laughing. She went in my closet and we're kind of laughing. And she's like, because she's extremely stylish. Look at her. Her nails, all of it. Oh my gosh.
Libra
you guys
vibe.
Totally Libra. Can't see, but she has an amazing jacket. It's over there too. It's silk. But wow. Okay, so
that's my first love. I think fashion is my first love. My first love.
So, and I have a kind of an important question to ask you. Do you have unconditional love for yourself?
After this trip, I do.
Let's get back into the trip.
It's gonna be.
We're going back and forth, guys. Just remember, we don't really have a plan. We kind of have a plan.
Flowing. We're women. We're flowing. Hello.
So, exactly. We go with the flow. We're swimming like Dory and Nemo.
I saw Nemo in Bali actually when I was snorkeling.
Did you? Is Nemo next to you? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Nemo. What about Dory?
Which one is Dory?
Dory's the one that's kind of the little bit more of the clueless, like ditzy. She's forgetful.
Is she the blue one?
She's forgetful.
Yeah, that's me.
And so I'm like Dory. I'm like
and
a Dory.
You're younger, but whatever.
I just have so much in my mind. Anyways,
I'll talk about that.
So wow, intention. How beautiful that you didn't have a goal. You had an intention.
It came. It
wasn't like a personal.
Yeah, it was not very intellectual. It was not something I was planning. It literally came from here somewhere. It was very weird.
I love it. Okay, so you get to Bali.
See how important it is to quit your job? It's very important. because things just start like, I don't know. It's important to do what you love and make sure you don't do what you hate.
You feel free.
Oh my God,
and
yes.
you feel
God, yes.
and
Freedom.
best thing ever. And that's why your creative juices are flowing.
Yes,
and
yes,
that's
yes,
amazing.
yes.
So happy to hear that.
Yeah,
okay, so unconditional love, intention, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And now you're in Bali.
So now I'm in Bali. I meet all these wonderful people.
Yes.
And I'm completely like shocked would probably be the wrong word, but I'm just overwhelmed. I would say overwhelmed with their mindset, how little they have. Like their level of comfort is about very low right here, right? But their level of happiness and acceptance is up here. And it's very obvious. It's not something you search for or interview people. You just talk to them and you're like, oh my
anybody
God.
you talk to, you're saying.
Yeah, and then the West is the exact opposite. Our comfort is up here. We're very rich here. We have opportunities. We're like, even the people that are not rich are rich compared to Bali people.
Of course.
But our level of acceptance of life and satisfaction is on the floor.
And
it's on the floor.
Wow, that's so accurate.
So it's a complete opposite like situation there. And people are very open. They invite you to their houses, and it's not like a creepy weird thing. It's like literally they just want to share their food, their house, their welcoming, friendship, loving. And that's just like a normal thing. So I got invited to one house like that, and I was just like, wow.
Does that feel like unconditional love to you? To just be, I mean,
they're very present. That's the other thing. They're very present. They all of them understand. Bali is Hindu mostly. The rest of Indonesia is Muslim, but Bali is Hindu, and they're very not that they're accepting. They have a place for everybody there. It's Hindu, Christian, Muslim, whatever. They don't really feel like, oh, my religion is the one. Like yours superior. Is okay.
Everyone's accepted.
That's fine. No, that's like literally everybody's integrated. Everybody has a say. They believe in everything that they practice. They're super present. They understand karma. They completely understand karma. It's not like some weird philosophy from India for them. That's how they live. This is what I have. This is my karma. They accept it. There's no resistance to what is. You know how we always fight, oh, why my life is like that? Oh, why is this like that? They don't have that.
Elaborate a little bit more about the karma thing. So you're saying if they have so little or whatever they're experiencing in life, they feel is meant to be. Kind of, is that like you're saying if they don't have enough
this is what
clothing and they don't have enough food.
Yeah.
You're saying it's accepted. It's like there's no
fight with it.
There's no blame.
It doesn't mean you happy about it, but at least you accept it. You know what I mean?
There's no blame.
There's no blame. It's only you. You are responsible, and if in this life I have this husband or this wife or whatever, this is what I got from my previous life. This is like their understanding of karma is so deep. It's like it's just so beautiful. They're joyful. They're very joyful. They're happy. Like with all the tour guides that I toured, they're present. I would say they're present. They're present with what they're doing.
What do you feel their definition of karma is?
Their definition of karma is what you get what you deserve. That's it. That's all it is.
For the listeners, because if some people may might Google it, but that's it. Is that you get what you deserve?
That's it. Okay. And some things you might have done in the past life or previous lives or whatever life.
You're experiencing it now.
Okay. And there's no really there's no point of fighting it. Which I really, really love, especially at this stage of my life, that accepting doesn't mean that you agree with it or doesn't mean that you're gonna stay in this circumstance, but accepting at least gives you like the peace. You know what I mean? I accept it, but I'm creative enough to create my next, adventure. But I'm not fighting with it. I'm not losing energy in the fight with what is. I'm not in resistance to what is. I'm just in flow with what is,
How beautiful is that?
Yeah. Wow. So it's just their mindset, just talking to them. You kind of like, it's like contagious. So you kind of plug into that mindset. And Yeah, I had an interesting conversation about karma with another tour guide.
Yeah.
So we're driving in the cab, we're going somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it was interesting, the whole time I was in Bali, I was present just like them. I didn't want to get out of the car faster. I didn't want to get out of traffic because it was too long. Like I was in one ride was like 2 hours to get to another city. And I was just like, I was present. It
You
was
weren't
good.
rushed.
I wasn't rushed. I was exactly where I was, and I wasn't in the next second or a second before. I was in the present, and I was like, so many people meditate how to be in the moment. And you were near Bali. I don't know. I was in the moment. I found myself in the moment. And I've never experienced anything like that. The peace that comes with it when you're just here, I don't know anything like that. I don't, yeah. So anyway, we're driving in the car and we're just having like a casual conversation about some things, superficial things. I don't know, something. And in out of nowhere, I don't remember what we're probably about religion. I'm sure we're talking about religion because I don't know, that's just interesting to me. And he said, "Well, there is a way to end karma," and I was like, almost fell out of the car. I was like,
There's
"Excuse me, to end karma," and I was like, I got all like awake, perked up. I'm like, "Do tell," I was just like so excited. He's a driver. He's having the most like casual. It's like a cat. We're not having like this philosophical conversation with candles. We're just talking. We're just talking about everything. So anyway, he's like, "There's two ways." I'm like, "Okay, what's the first one?" I was just like, my heart was like so he said, "Well, the first way is when God just gives you a blessing, like just a blessing." And the way I received it, the way he said it, like just the way he was saying it, I received it as, you know how sometimes in California people are in prison and they let them out because of overcrowding.
Yes.
Not because the sentence is finished, not because they deserve it or don't deserve it. Like it's not because it's just released, just go. Yes. So that's how I received it. It's just like you just receive a blessing and just like, okay, and karma. And I'm like, okay, what's the second one? I was like, so he's like, the second one is you have to have a bigger heart to accept. And I was like,
a bigger heart to accept.
So it took me a little bit to process, and I understood that, at least the way I took it, is that you accept things not because you're just so exhausted that you can't take it anymore. You're like, okay, fine, this is my life, sure, okay, great. No, you actually have such a big heart that you see so much love in that. You see how much God loves you and how he wants you, or the universe, whatever you believe in, how everything is for you and not against you. You know what I mean?
That is such an important statement.
You have to have a big heart to see that, because you see with your heart, right? That's what we're talking about. We're not seeing with this. We're seeing with this and this.
Everything is for you.
Everything is for you.
Everything is happening for you.
But you have your capacity to love has to be so big that you actually, like, accept it.
Elaborate that a little bit more. What do you feel like having enough love to accept it means?
Because universe or God is so loving towards you, it feels sometimes very harsh or very like it's a punishment. But you're not seeing the big picture. You're so small, like your peripheral, you're so small. You're not seeing it in the bigger, in that loving way that he loves us, or the universe loves us, and they love us so much.
It's like happening for you out of love.
Exactly. So you're not seeing that. So when he said that, I was literally sitting in the car. After that word, I was like, mic drop. I don't need anymore. I was like, I can't take this. Is a lot. I was digesting it because it was so big. It was so beautiful. Just that phrase, like if you just meditate on it.
I'm getting a little emotional.
Oh, we're gonna get to that. Don't worry. This is just the beginning. In the end, we're gonna cry our eyes out.
I'm getting pretty emotional thinking about that idea, and not to pause just your talk for a moment, but that's so important.
Beautiful the story is unfolding. So Bali is a story, like I'm telling you, it's beautifully unfolding little by little. And I thought that was big, but that was just the beginning. I was like,
no, everything is happening for you. That idea is something I learned earlier on.
Out of unconditional love.
For you. But the unconditional love is always for your, in my opinion, is for your growth. I feel things are happening for you for you to propel forward and to help. I mean, I think we're all connected, right? So to help,
obviously, yeah.
we're all connected. I mean, that's why thinking of you as one singular person exactly is kind of hilarious. We're all like domino effects. All of one action creates a domino effect to the whole world. So working towards you to help the whole world. That's my opinion.
Yep.
My belief.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
with
and
you.
by the way, I keep looking down, guys, because we have our cute little notebook, because just to
so
keep us.
We don't float away, because we will.
Because we'll fly. You know, we like to kind of
end up in the Indian Ocean somewhere.
We'll just flutter around like this.
Flowy creatures.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And we have a lot to talk about. But and by the way, we love this stuff. Our favorite color, teal, turquoise.
Your favorite color?
I said our. Hello. Our favorite color. And I'm sure some of you guys like that color as well. Anyways, I'm looking at it so we can kind of move into the next phase. Which, by the way, she has beautiful handwriting. Just saying.
Thank you. Let's do it.
Meditation. And the meditation, human, and spirit separation.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
Ooh,
okay,
I'm so excited to dive in. Meditation, human, and spirit separation.
Yes. So I was doing daily meditations there, except for the days that I was touring, because that was a lot. But anyway, my hotel was on the beach, so I would just in the morning get out and like half awake, go to the beach and just sit meditation and just sit there. So I'm sitting there, in my usual, and just nothing. Sometimes meditation is nothing happening. You're just there. You're just present.
That's what's meant to be.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, what is shown to me is I see me as a human, right? This human experience, this human body, and I see my spirit, and they're completely separate. And the way I would describe it is, my spirit is, I don't know if anybody's familiar with any Hindu scriptures, but anyway, they say that the soul is Satchitananda. Satchitananda means it's full of knowledge, bliss, and eternal. It's eternal. So basically that's your soul. So, but anyways, I saw me as consciousness. It looked like literally like a piece of something. I saw myself as consciousness and my human experience. And all the spirit was doing is just observing. Like, if it's connected by observation, and maybe like a thin thread of, just so that's like your experience.
So you're saying spirits in between the human
it's
experience?
completely separate. Completely separate. And you just watching it like a movie. That's all it is.
So spirit, human, you said your consciousness, spirit, and your is spirit. Your consciousness is spirit, is what you're saying. And the body. Human,
right,
you're saying, like, basically it's your it's like your consciousness spiritually,
is
and then
watching
it's
this human experience.
our human bodies, right?
Yeah.
So you experienced separation of those two during a meditation.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And that meditation gives you so much. Seeing this gave me, I don't know, so much peace, so much. There's not the understanding that there's not much you do except for like watch it as a movie. It's already filmed. That's another part that we can go into, but maybe not this episode. It's already filmed. The movie is filmed. All you do is watching it. And I know when we're so much engraved in our body, we're so much like in this body, we feel a lot of, up and down, despair, happiness and joy, despair, ecstasy, whatever we feel. Once you see yourself as that consciousness, the consciousness is a very stable, is a very, there is no up and down, there is no duality, it's just one thing. And it's consciousness, it's bliss, and it's knowledge, it knows everything. It doesn't need anything. It's completely self-sufficient, completely happy is very little to say that. It's blissful. It's blissful. So I was like,
so I'm gonna ask you to go back though, because I do want to know about. You said that our movies are already. Filmed. You're watching that. Okay, let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, I know it's very.
She just grazed upon this statement that the movie is already filmed and you're watching it. She's trying to graze upon that, and we're not. We're gonna
Yeah,
dive into
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
lean into it. Oh my
I know
gosh.
it's very like controversial, and I know a lot of people have different opinions on that and about that, and probably maybe all of them are right because you're seeing things from different perspectives, right? So they all might be right. It doesn't matter.
This is a
But
non-judgment space. This is a free of judgment
but
share space.
at least the way I feel, especially recently, that I'm pulled towards something, somebody or something is leading the way, and I'm following. So that's why I have the sensation of the movie kind of already been filmed, because there is a path and I feel this internal GPS that is taking me somewhere.
Your life, like your life path.
My life
it's
path.
Like your
It's
GPS is being directed.
Yeah, it's
and
already
you're
drawn.
driving. Okay, oh my gosh, let's just imagine this, listeners. You're driving to a destination that's already, or even maybe not be a destination, but that's already written. That path's already paved. You already have your GPS directions, and you're being pulled. But let's talk about you're freeing up the space to allow yourself to be pulled. So you're right. You're watching a movie being filmed. Then you're realizing that you're free to, you're opening the space to allow yourself to be pulled with the GPS.
You let the GPS dictate where you're gonna go, and that's very hard to do.
Okay.
Very hard to do. But
is that a part of being present?
It's being present, and it's being present with what is, no matter what that thing is. And that's where your intuition comes in, your especially feminine intuition. I think that's our biggest asset that we can ever have. It's our intuition. And if you notice, especially girls or anybody, intuition, when it's talking to us, especially very loudly, it's usually the opposite of what we want and the opposite of what we think. It is. It's not practical, has nothing to do with logic. It's not practical. It's not doable in the moment. It's like, how the heck am I gonna go to Bali? Like, are you kidding me? Are you crazy? So the intuition is hardcore. It's very like, it's not negotiable. It's like, you're going this way, and if you're not, watch what happens.
Watch it happen anyways. Watch it happen anyways.
It's very strict. I would say intuition is very strict. Wow. It's going where it's going, and you're
wow.
At least you flow. If you're going with it, at least you're flowing. You're not always agreeing what's happening, but at least you're flowing. There's no resistance, so you're a little bit more happier and a little bit more like, you experience more pleasure in the moment because you remove that resistance from your life and you just let it be whatever it wants to be. You accept, just like Bali people. They're just accept their karma, and they're like, this is what it is.
And do you feel opportunity opens more when you do that? I've noticed that with my own journey, that
that's what I was saying. I'm so fertile with ideas. I don't know where the heck they're coming from.
We're gonna have we're gonna have a little fertile idea session after this, by the way. We may idea session. We might record it. We don't know. We'll think about that.
All right.
And when that time comes, and I'm taking notes because I want to circle back around and kind of touch on some important points afterwards. Yes. But
I think we deviated from somewhere. Do you know where we deviated?
Yeah, we were talking about karma.
Okay, cool.
Well, we're talking about meditation, but we're still in that space though, the human separation, right? Human and spirit. We're still in that space, which is beautiful because we're talking now about when your meditation helps create that ability to allow, right, to accept karma, and then to allow GPS to take you on that path. Okay. Now, the
divine GPS. I would call it divine.
We're GPS. Writing that down, girl. Divine GPS and flow. Okay. Yes. So the universe is heartfelt. The universe is heartfelt. Is our next?
No, it's a buffet.
Oh, it's a buffet. So just so you guys know, I told you she has beautiful handwriting.
So beautiful they can't.
So beautiful
that
it's actually, there's a cursive moment there that I totally just missed. There's a word that I totally just missed.
Okay.
Universe, and universe, I think I said heartfelt, obviously, and it was buffet. So
yeah. Well, anyways, yeah, close enough.
A heartfelt buffet. The universe is a heartfelt buffet. I like that.
Oh my gosh. So anyway, let's talk about that. So yeah, so I'm meditating again the next morning or whatever. Yeah. I don't know, the next day. And what's being shown to me is that it's so interesting. It's in this human experience, we have everything, right? So this is what they're telling me. We have everything from A to Z. We have the poorest people, we have the richest people, we have the happiest people, because we do have happy couples, happy, people with families and children, very happy, I don't know, whatever, people with great ideas. We have a lot of dark side, right? We have all the, the abuses, the human trafficking, the whole, the most, negative thing that you can think about.
Yeah.
So in this world, it's very interesting. You have everything, literally everything, from the lowest to the highest, literally everything. But when we come to this world, right? I'm going to talk about me because it's more personal, I guess. When I come to this world, I'm only able to see things that I'm programmed for, right? So it's not that, sometimes how you hear women talk, oh, there's no good man or whatever, the story, or the men say, oh, there's no good, whatever the story, whatever you're telling yourself,
You're creating
you're
your
only
existence.
able to see what you programmed for. Because, for example, you came with this program in this world that, I don't know, I'm not good enough, or I'm this, or I'm that, whatever the story is. I don't even care what the story is. Everybody has a story. You only, for example, if your story is, let's say, there's no good men, right? If your story is that, you come into this world, and guess what? Your attention will only go to the men that are not good enough for you, or whatever it is, right? Or if you say, I'm not good enough, you're going to meet people that's going to reinforce that. You know what I mean? So it's the programming that is playing.
But you
So
feel
it's not that it's not there.
Before birth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You already come with it. And, we have this thing where Peter Krohn, by the way, on Instagram, he explains that really well. It's not that you had this childhood and the parents did this to you and that to you. No, it's that you came with a program. The parents, or whoever the abuser was, or whoever did what they did, as sad as it might be, they're only highlighting the part of yourself, like the part of the programming, to sustain the programming, to show you the programming. So right now I see my mom as not somebody that, abused me or did this and that. I see that she's showing the part of myself that is not loved by me. She's showing me a part of myself that I still judge, that I
part of yourself that you still need to work on,
that I need to give more love to. I don't see my mom anymore as like, oh, she's my mom. Like, I know she's a part of myself that is showing me, pointing me into the right direction. So if anything, I should be, grateful to her that she's serving my karma and just showing me, kind of where to go, where to show some more love. So
that's beautiful.
So yeah, that meditation showed that it's not that the thing don't exist in the world. They do. You just only see what you programmed for. Once you get out of the programming, then you can see, oh my God, this world is a buffet. You can have anything.
You can have everything you want.
Yeah.
Everything is tangible.
So also that's where all the ideas, I think, are coming from, that you remove yourself from this very constricted, from the box of your childhood and your life, and
just, or this is happening to me. It's when you, so let's talk about, this is very important, because I love this discussion along with many other things, but I'm very passionate about this idea of life is happening for you now, and programming. And we'll go, I don't want to dive in too much into that. I want to talk about you, but programming. Okay, so how do you get out of programming? Because, so let's recap. Programming, you're born with it. How do you become aware of your programming, and how do you get out of your programming?
So I'm not gonna say how to. I'm just gonna share my experience. Yeah, how I did it, because
but that's all you can do.
That's how people, can relate to how I did it. So I remember I was standing in my kitchen. That was maybe 9 months ago. I was standing in my kitchen, and I had this like epiphany, I guess, or something, and it showed me, you have this story about you, that you grew up without a father, with a certain mother, and all that. But that's the story. That's the programming. But if that's a subjective thing, right? But if you open your eyes a little bit, open your heart a little bit, and look at all the circumstance of your life, that was not really true. You had a grandfather that loved you, absolutely adored you, who showed you. I get emotional every time I talk about my
Unconditional
grandfather.
love. Can I hold your hand? Do you mind?
I just love him so much. It's just so.
We have this pillow here for hugs too.
So that was actually
And I
not
have some
true, right?
tissues.
So the true story is that you had all these people that love you, and I can list them. There are a lot of people that love you. My cousin, we were like sisters. She was just such a giver, giving me everything and just not having a lot. And so that could have been my story, you know, how much people loved me. But because I came with this programming, that's the only thing I saw, that I don't have this, I don't have that, or I have this negative experience. But it's actually not the truth. So your programming is actually a lie. That's what I was shown. The programming is a lie. It's not even the truth. If you look at things objectively, you will notice there were other things that were so good. You just couldn't see them.
You have to choose.
So first step for me was awareness. Just being aware of, oh damn, that is a story. Why do I tell myself a different story? You know what I mean? Why do I look at things a little bit more objectively and not so, oh, they left me, or this? It's such a victim mode, you know, to be in that space of
tell yourself a different story.
Yeah.
I need to have like a bell or something. Ringing a bell.
And tell yourself, be like a little bit more objective, just a little bit more objective. You know, there's degrees to abuse, and people went through things that are unimaginable, and that is a whole nother category. But I would say if you open your heart and your eyes a little bit, you can see that this story probably wasn't even true. It probably wasn't true. So anyway, that was another truth. There's another truth. There's more objective truth. More objective if you look at everything.
But it's also, would you argue it's challenging when you are looking at it from an emotional perspective or being in it?
Well, emotions, that what, you know, all those experiences in the childhood, painful experience, that what, you know, contributes to emotion. A very realized and centered conscious being does not really have emotions because they're at peace with everything, you know. But anyways, so the first step was awareness, right? Awareness. And then everything that would happen, or I would observe more than participate in it, you know. Like I would still be in it, but I'm like, oh yeah, that's the trigger. Oh, that's familiar. And feeling all the feelings, like everybody's saying now on Instagram and everywhere, feeling your feelings is very important, because that's how they kind of resolve themselves, you know. I know some feelings are really not fun to feel. Like, I mean, honestly, some feelings are
no, but you're saying
so hard.
Yeah, I'm
but
a
you
big
have to
believer
go
in that.
Once you feel them completely, they leave your body. Sometimes they come back, but it's a way lesser degree, you know.
You're saying it's this whole idea of not accepting karma, right? Like accepting the emotions, accepting it, not pushing it away, accepting how you
can't
so
push it away.
accepting this is still coming back to this whole acceptance thing.
So that's at least was my journey to see it. Once you see it, right, when you look at watch a movie, it's already there. Once you see something, half of it you already solved it, because you can see it,
and you can't unsee it.
You can see it. It's already not you, because you can see it over there. Correct. It's already not you. It's already half, like 50% left your body. Like,
I just am getting the chills. It's so beautiful.
It's very true.
I love that you experience that. Not everybody. I describe that as, I call it the matrix. I call certain, and that's kind of my description of it. But some people are in the matrix. Some people choose to be in the matrix. Some people aren't aware that they're in the matrix. But when you're out of the matrix,
once you see the matrix, you're already out of it, because you see it. It's right there. Oh, I see it.
That movie, right there. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it, and you'll get what I mean. Yes. But that movie is totally about consciousness, in my opinion. Like, about awareness, self-awareness. I mean, it's so. Anyways, that's my opinion of the movie. It's a very powerful movie.
So yeah,
and I feel it relates to you.
Continue, and you just continue to observe and feel and observe and feel, and then I think you kind of
continue to
graduate. You graduate from that matrix colon.
And but you're always kind of on this journey. I mean, you're outside of the matrix, right? But are you? guess a whole nother conversation, but you're on this journey and you're going through. So we're going back to Bali, but you're going through this journey, and you were at this water temple. Okay,
Water
this
temple,
water
just
temple.
like Julia Roberts. I wanted to do all the things like Julia
I don't
Roberts
even
did. I
remember
was like,
that scene, but I'm
yeah,
so
she was in
excited
the
to
temple.
hear.
But anyway, so you go to the temple, and my tour guide was said, "Do you want to do this properly?" I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, give me the money." I'm like, "Sure, okay." So I gave him the money. It was very cute, but they're very like honest and simple. Anyway, so I go to this guy. He's like, he's gonna tell you exactly what to do. He's the guy at the temple. The guide, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know the terminology.
of the
So I
person
meet
who's
this
guiding you
of the
through
person. So I meet this guy. I look at him, and I don't know if you ever had that, those people that look through you, right into your soul. They have this look that they don't see your body, like go straight to your soul. And I was just looking at him. His look alone was like, it was, I don't know, it was something about him. He said, number one, this is not about religion. And I was like, my whole body just relaxed. And I'm like, oh my God, what a relief, He's like, it's not about religion. This is about your intention. I was like,
yes,
I
girl.
know, look, I have chills
Oh
in my
my
body.
gosh.
This is about intention. I was like, okay. He's like, the water temple, the water, yes, it's holy. It comes from the mountain. It's natural, blah, blah, blah. But you give it intention. You give it power. The water is pretty neutral. But you give it with your intention of what you want to create, what you want to do. You give it power. That's how power is created. It's not you go somewhere and you get it. Again, victim mode. You think somewhere you can go get it something. There's nothing to go get. You have the
You possess
intention.
all of it.
You put it up. And I just standing there. I'm like, oh my God. They tell you 2 words and your life has changed. You know what I mean? Like 2 words and it's done. It's like, okay, he's like, here's some offering. Go sit over there and meditate. And I was like, okay, I can do that. I know how to do that. So I sit there with my little offering. It was probably the energy of the place or something. I just wanted to sit in that meditation. I didn't want to come out. Like something I just dropped in somewhere in some space. I didn't want to come out. But then I'm like, okay, I know he wants me to go to the water and do things. So I kind of forced myself out of it. But I remember
you could have stayed in that blissful space.
Yeah, I was just in somewhere that I didn't want to come out. So anyway, he tells me, okay, go to the first. There's 3 water, places. So you go to the first and you ask to clean your body, mind, and soul, something like that.
You said 3 water places. Is this like, are they temples or what's the?
It's a temple, but they have 3 water
like
pools, I
drains?
guess, like a pool.
Are they
With the
coming out
drains.
okay, like
Yeah,
waterfalls type of
waterfalls.
things?
Yeah, type of
Okay.
fall. Yeah,
Okay, so 3 different drains
3 different
pulling
drains.
from the mountain,
Yeah.
the sacred water.
Yeah, so you go in the first one and you ask to be cleansed. You ask to clean your body, mind, and soul. Okay, I did that. The second one, you ask for forgiveness. I was like, okay, that was weird to me because I have a whole nother concept on forgiveness. I'm like, okay, he told me to ask for forgiveness. I asked for forgiveness. I personally think there's nothing to forgive. You did the best you could in the time that you, like, in the amount of awareness you had. There is nothing to, how we judge ourselves, like, oh, what I did when I was 15 or 16. Well, yeah, you had the mentality of a 15-year-old. You know what I mean? You're judging yourself being a 30-year-old woman, 40-year-old. You're judging what you did, like.
So
I don't really
you already
believe in.
experienced forgiveness, though. Is
Yeah,
what
I
you're saying.
don't. There's
You're
nothing to
living
forgive
in forgiveness,
or nothing to forgive somebody for because they just brought you your karma. They're just servants of karma.
You're not even forgiveness is not even in like
For
you're
me, it's
living.
completely
But
obsolete.
you're always in forgiveness. Everything's there's
It's
nothing
obsolete.
to forgive.
There's nothing to forgive. But I'm like,
love
I'm
that.
gonna obey that because that's what he told me. So I was trying to be obedient. I was like,
because that was hard because that was against your personal belief.
Yeah. Anyways, but that's my personal kind of journey. And the third one, you ask for what you want. You ask for like but I asked for what I wanted and things like that. I want a lot of things. But leaving from the temple, all I could remember is how he looked at me and how he told me it's all about your intention. And I understood that's like life. Life is pretty neutral, like it's a buffet. It has everything. You pick what you want.
Everything's at your disposal.
It's your disposal, but it's like your intention. What do you want to do with all that, So that's what I honestly don't remember what I asked for. I mean, I have an idea, but didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Because it was not the thing. It was like the state, the state of mind. So I left there. I was like, wow. So yeah, Bali
Looked
gave me
into
so
your
much.
soul and
Looked into my
wow.
soul.
And do you feel that
Ay.
question? So those are interesting things come up, forgiveness and
Oh, girl,
but
we have, yeah.
but
For 200 episodes, we have it
I know
right here.
we probably can't do all of this in just this one, but
Yeah,
I mean that's a whole nother. I'm gonna have to write that down because forgiveness is pretty big for me too.
we can make an episode on forgiveness.
How
No
about you
problem.
guys? You guys let us know what you guys after, especially after this one.
We're open.
Listeners, we're open to a kind
We're
of
open.
whatever, but we have a lot to talk about. Forgiveness is a big deal. I also am intrigued by a lot of other things you said. So
I think I posted it on one of my Instagrams. When you realize everything is happening for you, forgiveness becomes obsolete. Like you don't need forgiveness anymore. You know what I mean?
well, we were just discussing a minute ago about perfectionism. So so
Perfection is the opposite of loving. That's the opposite.
loving yourself, the opposite of loving yourself.
Just yeah. But anyways,
Um
where are we
so
going next?
and then no, I know that's another one. So I'm writing it down. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have so many. So unconditional love
Yeah.
is explained.
Oh,
Unconditional
okay,
love,
we got there. Okay. So,
water temple,
water
experiencing
temple.
this.
Yeah.
But before I even get to that one, I
Yeah.
actually want to ask you, leaving in between that period, what was kind of coming up for you? Like, what answers were you receiving from the universe
In where?
after this water temple ceremony? What answers were you getting? Because I feel you have probably have so many, but I want to talk about this particular moment.
Let me connect to it for a second.
Yeah.
I think what was coming up for me more and more, which I already knew, but it was just confirming. It's not about the thing. It's never about the thing, you know. It's how you feel, and it's like more. It's connecting me more and more to that conscious state, which conscious state is very, very self-sufficient and blissful. It's not. So basically, any desire that we have, right? And they're good desires. I'm not saying they're, we want to have children, we want to get married, or we want to stay married. I don't know.
Yeah.
We want to have whatever. We want to have a car. I don't know, house. Basically, what we're saying is over here, this is my desire. Over here is better than right here, right now. That's all we're saying.
We're always seeking something outside of ourselves.
Yeah. So over here is better. So isn't that kind of interesting or more interesting to create something right here that is so overwhelmingly beautiful and just so, I don't know, ecstatic that what you have here is great and it complements you, but you're not living in this constant tomorrow state, like.
Yeah. I always get that. I get that answer. I get that reminder. It's a reminder for me.
Yeah.
It's like a reminder.
It's superhuman to want things. Like, I want things. I have a list, and they're not very different from any other girl. Like, they're all the same. And we all know that. But I don't know. I'm just kind of curious of exploring this a little more.
Tapping into what's already there.
Yeah, because there's so much.
There's so much
There's
there.
so much.
Well,
it's a
look
world.
at what's being created
so rich.
here.
It's so rich.
Tapped in.
There's so much richness, and just, I don't know. It's a reminder to be present. And being present, you can't really force that. It kind of comes to you, just like everything. Just like one moment, you're like, oh, this is what it feels like to be present. Oh, dang.
Well, this conversation and being present in this conversation it's been beautiful.
Yeah.
How amazingly simple is that word? I mean, it's just simple, but so important. Is being present in any moment.
Isn't that the most attractive? Even if we talk about women and hot topic of dating or whatever it is, how attractive, how magnetizing is this for a woman just to be in her present and just to be and experiencing all those things inside and just be.
I talk about this on one of my episodes, but I was talking about being present in anything you're doing.
What's more attractive than that? There's nothing more attractive than that.
I mean, you guys tell us what you think. I think That's an amazing statement. But
in any area of life,
is being present.
go to a job interview
Listening,
and you
all
just
of it,
there and you just
experiencing it. What I was gonna say is I
very
did an
nice.
episode about this, which is was touching on what you're saying is,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys know I do really short episodes. This is probably I'm starting to do longer ones, but
We can cut
because
it.
no, because the way I operate is like I think of something and I mention it, but we're having
Yeah.
a flow. I want a flow conversation. There's so much stuff that comes up.
Natural.
I need that flow.
Natural.
So what I was saying is, I'm gonna say need, but it's important experience. So being present. I was talking about when I cook now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's such a funny thing, but I'm telling you, like cooking and being like I tell people when I'm cooking, unless I'm in my hosting mode and I know I'm not really present, I'm just all everywhere. Um, I when I cook, I don't want to be interrupted. My cook, it's like a sacred special place of I'm focused. It's so funny because but it's a simple thing, but it's the most beautiful thing. Chopping one vegetable, like just focusing on the vegetable. How beautiful is that?
Isn't it? Don't you feel like super? It's not even happy. Happy is way too small for that. It's just like very blissful. I don't know.
Focusing on that one vegetable. What I also do sometimes is like I play music and dance while I'm and just being that's to me that's like I'm having the time of my life. But present, being
Little things.
present.
Little
So
things.
do you? And I'm going back to you.
Yeah.
Do you feel being present is a key to happiness?
I feel like it's a key to bliss
Mm.
because bliss is very different than happiness. Happiness, well, for me, happiness is very it's very dualistic, right? This world is, sad, happy, you know, black, white. There's
You're
the
saying it's
opposites of everything.
too black and white of a
The one
statement.
day you're happy, the next day you're sad. But
Yeah.
blissful is such a constant state. There is no up and down from it. It's just one state.
Mm.
So it's a very,
Mm.
very different experience. You can experience it if you tap into the consciousness a little bit more, I feel like. And it also finds you. You don't really find that, at least in my experience. I tried, but I didn't really, when I looked for it, I didn't get it. When I looked for it, it came to me.
Mm.
I have a little bit of glimpse of that, maybe that state of consciousness, just that presence. And you can experience bliss and like ecstatic moments just on your own, which is very interesting.
Mm.
Um, yeah. So happy is very like, I don't
So
know,
being
up and down.
present.
So I
So we're
don't.
gonna change that word. Being
Yeah.
present helps create bliss.
More bliss. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Being more present.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, thank you for. We have a lot to talk about more,
Yeah.
but thank you for sharing a lot your insights into your Bali trip and
Bali's insane.
what
I highly
you took
recommend.
away, what you took away from that. Wow, wow.
There's a lot.
We're gonna do a little
There's a
circle
lot.
back around for everybody to kind of think about. So, one take. So, what was one? You have a lot of takeaways, but what I kind of took around, my biggest takeaway was being present and in the moment helps create bliss, right?
Acceptance is a big one.
Acceptance. Okay.
Not fighting with the circumstance. Obviously improving them if you can. Obviously, hello.
But accepting.
But accepting.
And accepting that this is happening for me. So that's our kind of some ideas, some thoughts. This is happening for me. And to view your life from the outside, like out of the box, not being stuck in your box.
When you're watching your life, it helps, not to be in it so deeply.
You're saying watching your life as a movie. That's another. I like that. Watch your life as a movie.
You are watching it.
But watch, like even your past. Watch your past. Watch your life as a movie. Another thought I have, which is important, is I like to say that I think you should view things as a child because children are curious, non-judgmental. There's a lot of things that it's not easy because we become programmed, especially with the world that we live in. But to view your life movie as a child, that's kind of my takeaway.
Or even live as a child. We can do another whole episode on being as a child.
I agree on that.
Children are very authentic.
Yep.
And they want and they do.
Amen.
They don't do things so that.
Correct. It's that present child. Oh my gosh.
So that
we are gonna do an episode on childlike
just state of mind. Child state of mind.
State of mind.
state of mind.
Childlike
Because that's
mindset.
how Bali was. It just came up and
I
just went
love
for it.
that.
There was no, I'm going to Bali so that I can, no. There was
Childlike,
no
because I'm cooking and
agenda. There
listening
was
to
no
music.
agenda. There was no goal. There was
Cooking
no
and listening
nothing.
to music, and that's my childlike fun enjoyment.
I cook because I want to, and it's fun. That's it.
I love that.
This interview is fun, and that's it. We're not doing it so that. There is no so that. We're
There's
just
no
present.
so
That's it.
that. But I will say my perspective, which is why I even started doing this podcast. You know this already because I told you I just started. I don't know what the frick I was doing. I don't know what. I mean, but you just go. I'm like, let's
You're
just do
not
it.
supposed to know.
But the purpose, and there's no goal, but I just consciously know that we are all connected. I think I've told you, I said this earlier. And your positive action towards whatever you're helping, like this, there is a general worldwide goal in the perspective of this, someone listening, whoever's listening,
Mm-hmm.
you'll receive some information from it that's going to help you in your life.
Yeah.
And that's giving. For me, give. Just
I feel
to
like
give.
that's a side effect. That's a positive side
Correct.
effect to the creation, you know?
There's no goal per se or the word, but I'm just saying I know from a domino perspective and from being outside the matrix, I know that the domino effect is very real.
Yeah.
And one action you make creates a ripple effect of positivity, or it could create a ripple effect of negativity.
One thing is like,
so that's what this is and where we started. And thank you for being, again, thank you so much for being my first guest on I don't know what I'm going to call it now. I mean, I was called Shaking Your Perspective. That may change. Who knows? I like, this is like kind of like girlfriend hour.
yeah.
I wanted to have and just have authentic conversation. And I appreciate you for sharing.
You're welcome. We have to do this one.
Unconditional explanation.
Yeah.
I thought that we went over that.
No.
Okay. She's good. Thank you. Keep me on track. I thought I said unconditional explanation.
Yeah,
but I
we
think
we started and then
oh my gosh.
thank you for
helping me. Do you see how grateful I am?
U-turned. Like
we never U-turned. But that's the way it works, man. We're
we
just
ended
flowing.
up in Antarctica somewhere.
Because we're flowing. Thank you for coming back. Okay, we're gonna conclude. I appreciate you coming back to circle and
finale.
Yeah. So thank
it's
you
like
for
episodes in one episode. This is the finale.
I
So
appreciate
anyway,
it.
I feel like that's important to share. So anyway, you remember the intention that I set before going on the trip.
Yeah.
Unconditional love. I want to feel it. I want to experience it.
Yeah.
So on my last day to Bali, it was Tuesday, and I was leaving at, I don't know, in the afternoon. So I was like, oh, okay, well, it was kind of like, you know, just like maybe a little sad that I was leaving, maybe a little like, I don't know, I was feeling some sort of type of way. And I went to the beach and I just sat in my meditation again, and I was just thanking. I was just, thank you for this, trip. Thank you. And like a lot of meditations, they're pretty calm and not a lot of things are happening. You're just there. So sometimes you just have to be patient until things start coming in, because sometimes they don't come in immediately. You have to kind of wait on them. And then all of a sudden, in my meditation, my grandfather energy, comes in. And he's basically saying, remember the dream you had about me? And I had a dream about him maybe 5-6 years ago. He came into my dream, and it was a visitation. It was not a dream. It was very real. It was very like, it did not feel like a dream. It was like seeing you. It was like that. So he came and we hugged and we cried, and we haven't seen each other in 35 years because he died when I was 4. So, but the connection I have with him is enormous. And he said, remember that dream that we had where we're so happy together? We're just so happy to see each other. We're just ecstatic to see each other. He said, you remember that? I said, yeah, I remember that. And he said, the love that I have for you, that's unconditional love. And the love you have for me, that's unconditional love. He said, love doesn't begin, it doesn't end. It's always there. Nothing happens to it. It's always there. He said it's just two souls when they meet, no matter what, if it's relationship or parents or whatever. When they meet and they are of the same frequency, they kind of open up each other up. They open each other up a little bit. They ignite that frequency a little bit more. They like open up that love. But he said the love, you don't find that. I'm love and you're love. Us coming together creates more love. So there's nothing to go look for. There's nothing to search. There's nothing to, go get. But the words that are just struck me was like, it doesn't begin and it doesn't end. Especially it doesn't begin. I was like, so it's like,
it's always
like
there.
soul, like God, it's always there. It never started and never will go away. It's just there. It's there. And he said, when you meet somebody, especially in a relationship, when you meet somebody, it's like that recognition of the soul that you meet. It's not really that you fall in love or anything. It's just two people coming together. They bringing this love, and you're bringing this love, and coming together, it creates more love. But you know what I mean? So he said, I love you just the way you, like, exactly how you are. You don't need to be a certain way. You don't need to be a certain, like, nothing, just the way you are. And I love him. Amazingly, I love him exactly the way he is. I don't love him. He's a cool guy, by the way. Like, he's very, he was a war veteran, and he fought the Germans to Berlin. Like, he has a story that is like amazing, has the medals, has the whole thing. At the same time, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't really care, because the love and connection that we have, that's the most beautiful thing that we have. He's very like an amazing
no super
guy, but that doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. And that's like, so, and I started feeling it, and I started experiencing, like, literally I was sitting in the love. I am love, you're love, like everything
there's
is
so
just
much
like
love everywhere.
There's so much love. And I was like, that's it. That's what I was looking for. Thank you for. And it's so real, it's not like this fairy tale that you hear about. It's like, he showed me, he made me feel it. He's like, that's it. That's what you're going to measure when you're going to, interact with somebody or meet with somebody. You're going to know, because that's what it's going to feel like. You will know exactly. You will not be confused.
You're talking about a partner.
Like a partner,
yeah.
or
even
with
friendship.
girlfriend.
I was going to say friendship. I was going to ask you, whenever we had our connection at volleyball,
and it's not because
there's no because of this. We love you the way you are.
It's just the frequency and the
connection.
And it was like the most mind-blowing thing I've ever experienced. And I was like, oh my God. So I was bawling. I was like, oh my God. But it's interesting how you set the intention and you get exactly what you like ask for. You just have to kind of just let it go and just be patient. It comes to you. It comes to you when it comes to you. It's not going to come when you think you want it,
Isn't that funny?
So yeah, and I put it on my Instagram too. It's like, it
pushing
begin,
to get the answer,
and it doesn't end.
But so it's always present. That statement right there.
It's there.
And do you remember what
you have it?
Do you remember what I first asked you? And what I first, well, I mean, a lot of things, but when you were mentioning how people in Bali were giving, do you remember when I said that's unconditional love?
Yeah.
Because it is. Because these people don't know you from anything.
And they don't have money. They were buying me fruit. They were paying for my things. And I was like,
but isn't that unconditional love?
Yes. Why would you I didn't even understand. How can you do that?
And you couldn't even process that was in that moment.
It already started. It already started. It was
already. Isn't that funny?
It's like a whole movie. So I left Bali in a complete state of bliss. It was just like so blissful, and I was
making you tea. I mean, like, there's love everywhere. Isn't that beautiful?
So
remember on your birthday? I'm talking about her birthday here. I know we're going off topic.
We just celebrated.
We just celebrated her amazing birthday. She's 21 now. She can drink. So
and I don't want to anymore. That's the thing.
Isn't that funny?
But anyway,
that's a whole other conversation. I didn't drink for a very long time, so I have these moments where I take long breaks, and I always remind myself, like, it was a reminder, like, I don't even really need this, right? But what I was mentioning about unconditional love, there's so much to give. I felt our table and all of the,
oh my God, our table was popping.
It was popping, but we received so much unconditional love from the waiters. We received a lot, but we allowed it to happen and unfold.
We received dessert. We received attention.
Free dessert.
We received
attention. We received, but this is such an important statement. Please, everybody, if you don't remember anything, remember one thing: everything is present for you. It's a buffet. Universe is a buffet, but you have to just tap into it, right?
Just to
my husband has this quote on his Facebook: is abundance is present, always present.
Always present.
Abundance is always
100%
present.
100% agree.
Woo!
Woo! We did it, girl.
Oh my gosh, that's listeners, please comment, suggestions, whatever. Just
we're open
to all of it, and we're grateful for you listening. We're grateful to have you on. Thank you so much again, and thank you for reminding me about that. Was such an important part. We derailed, obviously. Let's just flow. We're flowing, but that was such an important statement. So thank you for coming back to that circle and talking about that answer you got. Unconditional love is always present. Oh, honey, can I give you a big hug? Let's do the hug here.
Do it.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this is good. It smells so delicious. She smells amazing. Okay, you gotta stand up now. But
okay,
look,
cool.
She looks amazing, obviously, and she's tall. Oh, by the way, do a little spin. She is she is a model, obviously.
Clearly, obviously.
You see how beautifully tall she is, and thank you, honey. Thank you for being on. And look at this. All you need is love. Oh, actually, I didn't realize it was kind of cut off. Let's push it up. There we go. Okay. All you need is love.
All you need is love.
That's literally, how funny is that? Love is always present. Mwah. Bye. Ciao.